Hello, what's up everybody? How is it going? Welcome to another video of tutorial series PHP Specials. I'm your host Anwar Ali and I'm here today continuing the same topic, object-oriented programming approach in PHP language. And we have already completed two videos on the same topic, and I think today will be our last day on object-oriented programming approach for PHP, and I will then leave it up to you to explore more on object-oriented approach, and we will begin new topic from tomorrow. So till today we have completed, let me just grab my PHP Specials folder, so amps www PHP Specials, it's here. So what we did last time was we created a news listing page, and we also covered the delete. So we covered select and delete, and it was inside OOPS, I guess. So in OOPS we have created list news, where the new and the list of the news are being displayed, and we also cover the delete. So if you click on delete, the news gets deleted. And today we'll be covering the add news and the edit news using object-oriented approach. So what we have done till today is, so in news list, let us first of all discuss our class that we created last time. So we created our basic functions like constructor, where we used our public variable link and assigned the connection to it, and we've used this link in multiple places, and which is one of it is here. And we also created functions, basic functions like executing query, for delete, for select, to check the number of the rows, to fetch the data, and to redirect, right? Now what we'll be doing today is we'll be creating functions for update and insert. So we want to create these functions dynamically so that it works for each and every table. So what we did was, firstly we passed a table name, an ID to update, and a set of values and fields in array, right? So we need to process it in such a way that we will be able to convert or parse these variables into an SQL query, right? And similarly for this, since this is for insert, we don't need ID, otherwise it is the same thing. We are just passing the table name and the set of fields and values, and we need to parse it to convert it into the array, I mean as MySQL query, like this. Okay. So what I'm assuming right now is, for the array that we pass to update or insert, it will be in this format. So let me just quickly show you the format, how I'm about to pass the set of fields and values in array. So suppose we have, let me just quickly localhost/php myadmin. You see here we have a PHP Specials table and we have a news table. So we have title, description, and author. Let us just skip ID because this is auto increment. So title, description, and author. So if I want to pass these value for these three fields, what I'm going to do is I will be sending array in this format, or ARR. So for title, I will make the index title and pass the title this way. For example, sample title. Similarly, if I want to pass the description, I want to do description equals to sample description goes here. Okay. And if I want to pass the author, I'll create an index called author in the array, and my author would be some name, right? So this way I'll be creating an array, and in order to call this function, what I'll be doing is I'll just call, like if I have an object known as obj, I'll use obj arrow insert my first parameter with my table. So my table is news, and my second parameter would be the array, so I'll send the array this way. Now what I want to do is, inside insert function, I've got my table name and I've got the array with the set of fields in the index and set of values in its values, right? So I need to convert this array into query. So basically my query, first of all, without considering the array, let us just write a plain query, how a query should look like. Okay, so I'll just write it in a comment. So my query would look like insert into table name, so which is news, and my set of field name would be like this. So title, description, and author, and my set of values would be like this. Values, the first value would be sample title for title, and this for description it would be sample description for description, sample description, and my author would be like some name, right? So this is the query that I need to parse these values into. So I want my table name over here, and I want the index of this array over here, all the indexes. So my title, description, and author, which is being sent through this array, which are the index of this array, that and those indexes should be placed over here. And the values of the array, sample title, sample description, and author, and these should be placed in these places. So sample title, sample description, and the author name should be placed over here. All right, so I have to somehow convert these two values into this query. So let me just start it by writing the query. So my query would be q equals to, so I'll just write in the same query this way. So insert into, right, and since the I need to make it as a string, so insert into the news. So news after into, it's not intro, into, so into, insert into, now I need news over here, so my news is being passed through this variable. So insert into $tbl, which is the name of the table, that is news. So I have completed insert into news. So I need a space after news, so I will just concatenate, start concatenation again. So give a space. So insert into news space, I need a bracket open, so I'm giving it a bracket start. Now I need the set of indexes over here and the set of values over here. Okay, so something I need to write over here. So now I need to process this array and place these three comma separated indexes over here and these three comma separated values over here. The only difference between the values and indexes is that index does not have any quote in front of it, but the value should have quotes just in the beginning and in the end, right? That is the only difference between title, fields, and the values. So now let us just process the array. So we have completed our query till here. Now I want to continue. So what I want to do is I want to process this array using for each loop. So for each $arr as $k $v. So k is my keys or indexes and v is my values. So these are my values and these are my indexes. In each loop, in the first loop, I'll get k as title and I'll get v as sample title. Okay, so my loop starts here. So I want to create two variables. The first variable would be for indexes, so I'll just create a variable called index, okay, or let's say fields, and I want to place a blank value over here. Similarly, I want to create another variable called values which will be blank. So my intention is to assign these comma separated values to this variable fields at the end of the loop, and these three comma separated values into values after the loop finishes. So before the loop starts, my fields is blank and my values is blank, but I want to change these fields into title comma description comma author, and I want to change the values into sample title comma sample description and Anwar Ali. So this should be my output after loop is completed. So for that, what I'm going to do is, if you see each of the values, if you see author has a comma before it, description has a comma before it, title does not have comma before it. So what I want to do is I want to concatenate the values of indexes and make a long string this way, title comma description comma author. But if the index appears, if the index is 0, or I mean if the value of fields is 0, I don't want comma in the before. And if the value if the loop is second or third, I want a comma before, right, before the value. So what I want to do is, if $k is equal to blank, I don't need comma in front of it, right? So what I'll do is $fields equals to $k. I'll explain about it. And if the value of k is not blank, what I want to do is fields equals to fields concatenate with comma concatenate with $k. Okay, so let us just check, analyze how this works. I've not worked on values yet. I've just worked on fields. So in the first loop, the value of k is title, right? The value of the k is title, so it checks it's not k, it's fields. So what I'm doing is, if fields is equal to blank, which is blank in the first loop, so what it does, it assigns k into fields. The value of k in the first loop is title. So now we have title in the fields, right? So since the value of field is blank in the beginning and the value of k in the first loop is title, now title gets assigned to fields. So now fields equals to title in the first loop. Now in second loop, it checks, is the value of field blank? No, we already have title in fields, so it goes to else. Now what it does, it's field, is it fields or field? It's fields. So fields equals to field, which means title for now. So title concatenate with comma concatenate with k. K in the second loop is description. Now we've got title comma description in the value of fields, right? So in the first loop we assigned title to the fields. In the second loop we assigned title comma description to the fields. And the third loop, what it does is, and the value and the author is assigned to k. So it checks, is the value of fields blank? No, it is not blank, it is title comma description. So it goes to else. So what it does is fields equals to fields, which is title comma description comma k. K is author. So we get the set of title comma description comma author in fields after the third loop. Similarly, what I want to do is, in case of values, exactly I will use the same logic. I'll use the same logic. If the value of values is equal to blank, what I want to do is values equals to $v. The only difference between k and this logic and this logic is, in the case of fields, we don't need any quote in the starting and in the end, right? We don't need any quotes here and here. But in the case of values, we need single quote in the beginning and in the end. So what I want to do is, I want to concatenate single quote in the beginning this way and concatenate single quote in the end this way. So our value will be this. Similarly, in case of fields, if when I'm assigning v in else, I need a single quote. So what I would like to do is, I'll use double quote instead of single quote here, and give a single quote before the value and give a single quote at the end of the value. So let us just print out the fields and the values, and this should be values now. This should be values now. Okay, let us just print out the values and the fields after the loop ends. So I will just echo $fields and echo a line break and echo $values. Okay, so let's see what we get in ink if we call let's say this function. Okay, so I'll just save it as, let's say, in OPS. I'll just give this name test.php, save. So this is my test.php. I want to start my PHP here and end my PHP here. I just want to call this and see what our query, I mean fields and values look like. So let me just call test.php. So localhost slash php specials slash oops slash test.php. It is saying call to yes, we have not included our class here, so it is throwing me some error. So what I want to do is include inc.php. Now let us try to refresh this. It is saying, still saying call to member function insert on null, and I need to create the object obj equals to new inc. Now let us try. You can see the fields that we just echoed is title comma description comma author, which is exactly what we need, and the values are sample title comma sample description goes here and comma Anwar Ali here, and this is exactly what we want. So what it basically did is, I just want to show it parallelly. First of all, we included the class inc.php. We created an object called obj, and we called a function called insert of obj and passed the table name news and passed the array, this array which has title, description and author in its index, and sample title, sample description and Anwar Ali in its values, right? So the insert function gets called. In insert function we have insert function over here, which is this function over here, the table. So we have passed news in the table, so news comes over here, and we have passed this array, yeah, so this array over here, so our array, we've got it. Now I want to change this table name and array into this format. So what I did was, I'm just trying to create a blank variable called fields and blank variable called values, and in fields I want to assign this string title comma description comma author, and in case of values I want to assign single quote the value, single quote ends comma single quote the description, and the single quote ends comma single quote author and single quote ends, right? So this string I want to pass in values, and this string I want to pass in fields. So in order to do that, what I did was, I just processed this array using for each loop, and I created a variable called k and a variable called v. So what will this do is, in each loop, each title will get assigned to k, and each values will get assigned to v. So what I'm doing is, I'm just checking if the fields is blank. I'm just assigning the name of the field to the value of k to fields. So in first loop we got title in field, right? Now fields has value title. In the second loop, since field is not blank, it already has title in it. So what I'm doing is, it goes to else, and I'm assigning comma and the value to the fields. So in second loop we have concatenated old fields, that is title, with comma and new k, that is description. So in second loop we got fields as title comma description. In third loop it checks if field is blank. It is not blank, it already has title and description in it. So what it does, it goes to else, and it again concatenates comma, this comma and author to it. So in this way, in the third loop we've got all these three filled in a string with comma separated as comma separate values. So title comma description and comma author by the end of the loop. But in the case of values, what we did was, we just check if values is blank. So in the first loop the value is blank, obviously, so we got sample title in the values in the first loop, but in the beginning we have comma, inverted comma, single quote, and in the end we have a single quote, right? In the second loop, what it does is, it checks if value is equals to blank. It is not blank because it already has sample title in it with inverted comma in the beginning and inverted comma in the end. So it goes to else, and it assigns another value, that is sample description goes here to the values, to the old values, which is already sample title. So sample title comma sample description in the second loop, right? Sample title comma sample description in the second loop. In the third loop it again checks if the values is blank. It is not blank, so it goes to else. So it assigns sample title comma sample description and comma and the new v, that is author name, that is Anwar Ali. So sample title comma sample descriptions comma sample Anwar Ali gets assigned to the values with single quote in the beginning and end of each value, this way. So we've get a string that has field set in it, and we've got a string that has values set in it. So what we need to do is we need to continue our queue. So our queue only has insert into table and round bracket start. So now we need to add this to it. In order to add that, what we'll do is we'll continue with queue. So queue equals to old queue concatenate with, we have already started the bracket. Now we want title, description and author, which is our fields. So I'll concatenate dollar fields with it. So after having title comma description comma author, I need to close the bracket. So I'll close the bracket this way, and after closing the bracket I need a space and write values, right? So I'll give a space and write values, and after values we need to start the bracket again. So I'm starting the bracket again. So after starting the bracket, now we need the set of values which is inside values, right? So I'll concatenate values, concatenate with dollar values. So after having the set of values, I need to end the bracket, close the bracket. So I'll just concatenate and close the bracket over here. So finally let us just print out the final query that we prepared. Okay, so let me just print out the final value. It is saying insert into news title comma description comma author bracket close space values sample title comma sample description goes here comma Anwar Ali, which is the exact string that we want in our query, right? So all I need to do is now execute this query and we'll get our query executed and we'll get our value inserted into the table. So what I want to do is I'll just call this function over here query. So what I'll do is $this query and pass this $q over here. This way I'm able to now I'm able to execute the query. So we have already created a function for insert. So now let us start working on add new news. Okay, so add new news which is here. So once I click this, I need to take this to a form where we can add new news. So in my news list I have an anchor on the top that says add new news. So in order to add new news, I want to create a new form that will be, let's say, add underscore news underscore form, okay, .php. So let me create add news form .php inside OPS. So add underscore news underscore form .php, and here I want to create an HTML document and say add new news. I want to give a heading that says add new news. Give a form and give the method equals to save underscore news .php, and method equals to post. This would be action. So action equals to save news and method equals to post. Now I want to create a field for title, and it will be input type equals to text and name equals to title, and I want to give a class called form dash control, and I want to give a form group. These are just for design. So type class equals to form dash group. You can skip these if you want. Okay, now so save news method post div class equals form group, and I want to put this entire div equal div class equals to container, and my heading should also be inside container. Okay, and I want to give some tabs. So now we have a container. Inside container I want to give this class equals to, let's say, cold as first of all row. I want to put the entire form in the row, give some spacing, and I want to put the entire into class equals to cold dash md dash, let's say, 6, and I want to place it over here, give some tabs, and finally I want to give a clear fix. Div class equals to clear fix. Now in form group I am saying div class equals to title, class equals to form control. I want to create 3 form groups this way, one for title, another for description, and my description should not be input type because text, it should be text area. So text area class equals to form dash control. I want to give the name as description, and finally this should be name equals to author. My class is form control. I also want to give placeholders to each and every inputs. So placeholder should be title, and for this the placeholder should be description, and finally for author placeholder should be author author. I want to give one more form group, and input type equals to submit, name equals to, let's say I don't need name, and class this, so value equals to submit, and I want to give another, I don't need form control over here, I just want to give a btn dash let's say info. Okay, but for these design to appear I need bootstrap, so I'll just grab this link from here and place it over here. Okay, let us just check our add new news form. Okay, so let me just refresh this. Now this is pointing to add news form, so let me click this. So now we have add new news, title, description, and author. Now after we fill out this in this form and hit submit, the news should get added into this table. Okay, so this is what we want to accomplish. Now this is taking us, the form is taking us to save news. So I want to create a save news.php. So control S, save underscore news.php. In save underscore news I want to do few things. I want to include these objects and class. So I have created an object. Now all I need to do is I need to grab the inputs. So dollar underscore, so I want to create an array, right? Because if you see, we created a format last time, test.php, where our array should be in this format. So what I want to do is, first of all, $arr on title should be dollar underscore post title, right? I want to create an array. We could already pass the, we could even pass the post because it is already in the form of array, but I want to do something else. I want to skip strings first, so I want to get rid from let's say SQL injection. So I want to use MySQLi underscore real underscore escape underscore string in order to get rid from, what do we say, a MySQL injection. And I also want to trim this title because I just want to escape the extra white spaces. Now instead of doing this, what we can do actually is we can create a function called some function in order to do MySQL real skip string, or even let's say the trim. So I want to create a function called clean that should clean our string and pass the string over here, and my string would be str, let's say. So what it does, it first of all it will clean, remove the white spaces, so it will just trim the $str, and secondly it will return MySQLi underscore real underscore escape underscore string, and its first parameter is this link and its second parameter would be str. So it is returning finally, so I just can call this function clean here with the reference to obj. So what I will do is I will call $obj clean in order to clean the title. After cleaning the title, and I'm assigning it to ARR title. Okay, similarly I want to clean the description and assign it to description, array description. Okay, finally I want to clean an author and assign to author. So we have our array ready, and we know the table name is news. So all I need to do is I need to call $obj insert table name is news, and my array is $arr. So this way I will be able to insert my title, description, author to news table. Now secondly, what I need to do is after inserting the value, I want to redirect back to the news list. So I have already created a function called redirect, which is $obj redirect, and I want to redirect it to news underscore list. So news underscore list dot php. So by writing this much of code, I will be able to insert my news to the database. So let's try. My news would be sample news, my description would be sample description goes here, and my author will be test author. Submit. It says parse error unexpected clean in INC line number 69. So let's see, in INC line number 69 we have not written function, that's why it is saying giving us error. Let us try to insert this now, resend, and we can see sample news is here, which we just added, and if we click on delete, it will get deleted. So we have added the news, we have deleted the news, we have listed the news. Now the thing that has remained is editing the news, right? So before working on edit news, let us just create the update function, just like we created the insert. So in order that it is always easier if you are just beginning with the object-oriented approach or writing dynamic functions, what you can do is, first of all, you can just write a query yourself. So we want something like this, right? So update news set title equals to something, right? And comma description equals to something, right? Comma author equals to something, and where id equals to 1. So this is the format we want our query to be. So now in order to parse this table into this format, let us begin writing our query. Let me just place this in comment so that it will just act as a reference for us. So we want update news set, right? So first of all, $q equals to update. Let me just put it in double quote. So update, and we want news, which we'll get from the table name. So $.tbl, and we need set space. Now these things we will be getting from array, right? So title is the index, description is the index, we don't need a description in quote. So title equals to value, right? Description equals to another value, and author equals to another value. So this is something we want in our query. The first set is our title, and description and author, which is in our index, and ADFA this and this is our another, which is another set that is in our value of array. So in order to parse this value into array, we have completed till set and space. Now we want title equals to this, description equals to this, and author equals to this. So I'll do it same way. So for each $arr as $k, command $v. In the previous example in insert, our fields were separately written and our values were separate, but in this case, in each loop we want the key and value to be separated by equals to and a quote inside value, right? So what we want to do is, in each loop, first of all, we will create a blank value. Let's say it will be set equals to blank. Now I want this value inside set. Okay, so these values should be in the set at the end of this loop. So in order to do that, what I'll do is, if $set equals to blank, what I want to do is $set equals to, so title is our k in the first loop, so $k, concatenate we need equal to, so concatenate with instead of using single quote, I'll use double quote, equal to, concatenate we need the value now, but the value should be inside single quote. So I'll write single quote here and $v concatenate with single quote. So this is in the case if the set is blank, because we don't need comma in front of it. But for the second loop and third loop, we also need a comma in the beginning. So what I'll do, so if $set is not blank, I'll write the set the same way, but I need the old set concatenate with comma in front of this. So I think by doing this much, we'll be able to generate this much of query. So let us just try to print out set after we are done. So let us just try to echo the set instead of updating the table right now. So I'll just use test. Now instead of insert, I'll call update. The first parameter is table name. Let me just confirm. So first parameter is table name, second parameter ID, and third parameter is array. So first parameter table name, second parameter ID. Let me just pass 2 for now in the ID, and let us just try to print out the query, how it looks like. Not query, and the set variable. So if I try to refresh this test, so we are not getting title and description, we are just getting author. And why is it so? It is because most probably we have missed out something. Instead of writing double equals to, we wrote single equals to, so that is why. So title equals to sample title, comma, description equals to sample description goes here, comma, author equals to Anwar Ali. So this is exactly what we want. So we are ready to continue our query. So we have got our set. So we have $q equals to update tbl set. Now we want from here to here, which is inside our set. So what I want to do is I want to write q equals to $q concatenate with $q concatenate with $set, but after the set we also have where id equals to 1. So I'll concatenate $set with where id equal to concatenate with this id. So it is not always 1, it can be any id which is being sent here. So $id. All right, so this way we have our query ready. Now let us just finally print out the query, full query, instead of only set. So update news, set title equals to this, description equals to this, and author equals to this, where id equals to 2, and this is the entire query we want. So finally what we can do is we can execute this query by calling this query $q, and this will do what we want to do. Now, and just like we created a form for add news, now we will also create a form for edit news. So inside our news list, which is over here, news list, I want to assign a link to edit button, and which is edit underscore news underscore form dot php. And I also want to pass the ID to this form so that we are aware of which row exactly I want to edit. So in order to pass ID, I just give a question mark, ID equals to PHP echo $row arrow ID. So this way I'm passing the ID to edit news form.php. Let us just quickly create edit news form, which is edit underscore news underscore form dot php, which is here. So I'll just copy the add news form because we will be using exactly same form here. Just let me quickly change edit news. So this will also be edit news, and in edit page, in edit form, we want to auto populate the title, description, and author we are about to edit. So we are sending the ID. What I want to do is, since we will also use some queries over here, so I want to place these include an obj on the top, and after that I want to grab the ID, $id equals to $underscore post. It's not post, it's get. So $underscore post, $underscore get ID. So this way I'm able to grab the ID that I'm sending while editing the news. Now I want to select the title, description, author of the news whose ID is this. So in order to do that, what I want to do is inside inc.php, for now we only have select all, right? So where is it? Where is insert select? So in case of select, we only have select all from TBL, right? So I want to add something else to this. If we have condition, we can pass the condition over here. So $cond, and if there is no condition, we can define it to be blank by default this way. So if we pass some condition, the condition gets replaced and the blank gets replaced by the condition, and if nothing is passed, then the condition is blank. So what I want to do is I just want to modify this query a little bit by doing this. So if $cond equals to blank, in that case the query is this. But if $condition is not blank, else $q equals to, copy this, paste it over here, I will add condition here. So my condition will be where whatever the condition is. So condition. So this is, I've just modified the select a little bit. So if there is condition, I will execute this, and if there is no condition, I will execute this. Okay, so now, and by default the condition is blank. Okay, so in edit news we have a condition, and that is where ID equals to $id. Why is it not? Let me just reopen this. So edit news form. Okay, so we have ID, so our new query would be $obj select from table name news, and my condition is ID equals to $id. So ID equals to whatever ID we are passing, that is my condition. So finally we have managed to select all from news where ID equals to 1 if the 1 is passed, ID equals to 2 if 2 is passed. Okay, so I want to assign this select into result, and since we are only getting one row, because and the ID that we are passing, we will surely only have one row because ID is unique, so we don't need to loop through the query. We can just fetch it and use it. So what I'll do is news equals to $obj fetch $result. Okay, so we have fetched the entry with this ID and placed it in the news. Now what we can do is we can just print it over here. So value equals to PHP echo $news title, right? Similarly, value text area does not have value, it should be written over here. So PHP echo $news description, right? Similarly, for author we need to have a value, PHP echo $news author. So by doing this, we'll be able to auto-populate values in the form. Let us just quickly check this now. In case of, first of all, let's go to news list. Let's try to any one of the let's try to edit any one of the news. So if we try to edit this, we can see Italy votes in uncertain general election. The description is here, all the description is here, and the author is here. Now once I hit submit, this should save. So if I want to change anything, for example, I need to write something like this. So Italy votes in uncertain election. I don't want general over here. Sorry. So if I just remove general from here, now it should update. Now what we can do is we can provide an action which is save news. Instead of saying save news, this is for insert, so I'll write update news for edit. I'll create an update news, new file, Control S, update underscore news.php. I'll grab exactly all the codes from save news and paste it in update news. Everything will be same. Instead we need arrays the same. Instead of insert, I need to write update, and I need to pass the ID over here as well, but we don't have ID anywhere in edit news form. So what I can do is I can create a hidden field called ID. So input type equals to text, name equals to type equals to hidden. So if you want to create something hidden that is invisible, you can just write input type equals to hidden, give the name and give the value inside it. this way. So value equals to PHP equal $news ID. So I'm sending the ID in the hidden way. So now I can grab the ID $arr. Instead of saying ARR, I can just write ID equals to $_post ID. So we've got our ID, we've got title, description, and author. Now we can pass the ID over here this way. So this ID is being passed. So I'm trying to update the news with this ID through this, with these values, right? So let me just quickly check this now. Let me refresh this. I want to remove the general and hit submit. The general should go now. So see, the general is gone. So I've successfully updated, listed, inserted, and deleted the news. Now you can explore more on object-oriented programming. What we can, there are lots of topics to explore. Like I may give you some hints. Like you can cover inheritance. You can cover on the topics like what else do we have except public for the variables and functions in the class. What will the protected, if we just use protected, and if you use private, what will those things do, and how do we create multiple class and inherit the class, one class by another class, and how do we use the properties of some other class in this class, or how do we access. So there are lots of things to cover. So this was just to give you the core concept of object-oriented programming and its flows, how it works, so which I have covered it today. From tomorrow we will be beginning a new topic. I've just planned to start with a new framework. Maybe we can start working on some MVC frameworks from tomorrow, and I hope that will be interesting as well. My target is to cover Laravel, but before working on Laravel, I want to start with the simple frameworks like Codeigniter or Cake PHP or some others. I'll just cover one framework, and then I will start continuing with the Laravel. So I hope the video today was clear enough for you to understand object-oriented approach of PHP. And from tomorrow we will be starting a new playlist, maybe for Codeigniter. And if you want to learn some more concept on PHP, you can mention that in comment about what do you want to learn, else I will start the new topic from tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and if you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you have not subscribed my channel yet, please click on subscribe button, and don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you receive each and every notifications of the video I upload. That's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow with the new topic, maybe the new playlist of Codeigniter maybe. I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, have a nice time, have a nice day, and goodbye.